Here, and I have another gameplay of my Pirate Arnaghad Onslaught deck against MILVA no unit Skoyetel. And this game is very interesting because I do a lot of mistakes in this game, and I still manage to come on top. As you can see here in the mulligan, I just mulligan the Demon Worship because I think I can invest them in the later rounds. Unfortunately, I drew also both of them, and also I mulliganed the Whale Harpooner because I think it's the least important card in this matchup. And in the beginning here, there is no better move than to play Crach from the deck and still stack from some armor. And this is an important decision. I decide to not give the armor to the Terror of the Seas, as you can see here, because I think the Terror of the Sea will not find very high target, and so it will be enough the armor that it will get during the game. And this will be very, very important later on. Second card, obviously my opponent starts with the Panther, so not committal, and I just play one of my boat builders to start stacking armor on the field. Also, I pop my tactical advantage because I want to bait some removal like the Heat Wave, obviously on the boat builders and not on the Kraken Crate. Waiting for my opponent to play some other cards. Obviously my intention here is to stack as much armor as possible in my hand, and my opponent just plays a trap. I just try to bait some important stuff by playing the Demon Pirate, the Demon Corsair. Nothing happens, so I think it's the trap that activates with a special card. Get still my value and just continue playing. Here my opponents make a big mistake, quite big mistake, by playing the Chiran and move the Crach, but does not have a very good target for the MILVA spawn. So he is forced to play 2 leader charges. No worries, I will do way worse later, just by wasting all my leader charges. Then it's me. And obviously I find a white strength unit, so I play immediately the light longship, and I immediately get some 1 damage and some armor in my hand, pairing up the light longship with the boat builders. Still here I'm very afraid of the trap, because the trap will have like 5 value if he uses the spring. So I'm very, very afraid about that. He just played the Cat Witcher, so it's another target for my light longship to get some armor in hand. And here I rope, unfortunately, and I end up wasting all my leader charges just around target. And this is the biggest mistake I made during the game. There are more later on. So here I'm also playing a lot of 5, as you can see, so trying to bait to make that to make so that the trap will get the least valuable target. The light longship continues to stack armor in my hand, damaging all the new units that he is playing, and that's the main goal of the light longship in this matchup. Here I just play a couple of no-committal Tursek Invader and see what happens. And as soon as I have a quite big gap, as you can see here, I have like 18 points of gap, and I see just a bomb, I understand that this is quite the good timing to pass, because now the trap just will have the 3 value with the spring, and my opponent will I mean, it's a weird situation, can make some mistakes, as he did now with the bomb, the movement bomb. And yes, he manages to win the round, but he also loses the MILVA because he does not have any good death blow target. So definitely with some nice armor you can make the situation awkward for your opponent, and also make so that he is forced to use some movement thing without being able to get some good death blow for the MILVA. Here it's just the mulligan of the second round. I think that my opponent will just pass because he is like a no unit, an interactive trap thing. So I just mulligan away the Demon Corsair, the least valuable proactive move I have, and also the Drakkar, which is good, but I have the Oneiromancy in hand, so I can just play it and granting myself to thin out from the deck the Whale Harpooner, which is the least valuable card that I already mulliganed in round 1. So I just got a nice situation and nice thinning going for me in this round. So it starts a long round 3 with 9 cards, which is very dangerous. But I have some armor stacked in hand, and I have also some good cards. I mulligan again away the Demon Corsair because I think it's not a good card to have in this matchup. And here I like the Drakkar because it does not need anything else. I mulligan away the Demon Worship, and as in the first round I end up just drawing another one. So I start with the Drakkar because I want him to use the leader charges if he wants to get rid of it soon. Otherwise it will get a lot of value. But he starts with the Saskia, which is a very good card for him. Now I also end up not drawing a couple of very good cards in this matchup like Sukrus and Geralt Quen. Yet I just invest my Oneiromancy to play the defender. My opponent answers with a trap, obviously. And now I cannot play the Fukusia because it may be a pitfall trap. So I just try to know what it is. I play the Demon Worship. The Demon Worship is good because it's just an incinerating trap that played for -7 points because it's just a trade. My ship traded up by 7 points into his incinerating trap. He played another trap, get the Saskia going again. Unfortunately, I cannot play again the Fukusia, so I just played the boat builders and starting stack some armor in my guys to remember in this matchup armor will equal points in the long run. My opponent is still playing some traps, so he is still locking me out from the Fukusia play. I don't want to get pitfall trapped, so now I'm forced to still have a lot of provision in hand. I'm forced to play a Holger Blacken. I get a pitfall trapped, but I have a lot of armor on my side, so I'm able to absorb a lot of the value there. Here I also stacked some armor on the defender. I hoped that the pitfall trap would hit the defender more, because with the damage he would have started to get to create more armor too. My opponent just purified it and moved the Holger to get some value from the Cat Witcher. So it's my time now. I have the right window to play Fukusia into the Crach. Unfortunately, the armor in hand is not very useful because it's only one Terror of the Seas. It's still better than nothing, and I also move on by protecting my Crach with the boat builders. As you can see, I have a lot of armor, so maybe I will absorb a lot of damage afterwards. Now the Dryad Matron from my opponent, clicking also the Madoc, getting some good value. I cannot save the Holger Blackhand, so just leave it there. Get the ping from the Crach, get another armor into the Terror of the Sea. And here I just roped and I did not play this correctly. And unfortunately this armor goes to the Drakkar, which is the worst target to get the armor into. And this was my second biggest mistake. Two moves from the hand. Unfortunately, I need to play Arnaghad. It's a pitfall trap, but I am fully armored stacked, so I can absorb a lot of damage. Unfortunately, as you can see, if I would not have hit the Drakkar with one armor before, I would have another additional point there, but it's fine. My opponent answers with the Oneiromancy into the Heatwave. I just tried to postpone the Arnaghad play as much as possible, but he just kept the Heatwave. But I also ended up with my Terror of the Sea here, with a huge play. Remember also that I do not have a leader charge that I would have still from the previous round, unfortunately, because I roped out and I did quite some mistakes this game. But I still just kept quiet, kept calm, and played correctly. And finally, I get to win the round by 1 point. To note also that the opponent could have withdrawn this game by placing correctly his last elf in the back row, so that the Dryad Metron could have boosted it. But nevertheless, I think this game is very nice to see. It was also very interesting to spot all the mistakes that I did. The roping also was bad. But yes, it's very important to understand what mistakes you did, and also without the mistakes, this would have been like a very, very, very simple game. I made the things much more difficult than they should have been. Still, I think in this situation, you still need to be calm, not be tilted by your mistakes. Still try to repair and get the most points as possible, and you will manage still to get some wins, especially in lower ranks where slight, small mistakes don't matter that much. On the top of the ladder, obviously, it's way different. There, each mistake is game-changing. So I hope this video has been very interesting for you too, and that you enjoyed it. See you next time.